Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Perth East Council this 13th day of January. I'd like to call our meeting to order. If everyone could please bow their head for a moment of reflection. Thank you. We have a motion to confirm the agenda. That's the agenda as prepared for the January 13, 2026 meeting of Council of the Township of Perth East be approved as received. Moved by Amanda, second by Hugh. All in favor? Carried. If you have pecuniary interest, you can disclose that now or as the meeting goes along, members of council. Consent agenda, we have 20 items under the consent agenda. Is there any items anyone would like pulled? They have questions on, Andrew?
Thank you, Mary. It's just a quick question on the CAO report, 512. I don't think we need to pull it. That's okay.
Okay, go ahead. What's the question?
Page 18, site plan review agreements, All-Star Meadows.
All-Star Meadows is moving, say, replacing and building New Star Rentals. Very useful to keep track of, but thanks for the question.
Okay, anyone else? If not, then we have a motion that items 5.1.1 to 5.1.20 is set out on the consent agenda for the January 13, 2026 regular meeting of council be received for information, and that the minutes of December 16, 2025 regular council meeting be adopted. Moved by Jerry, second by Amanda. All in favor? Carried. Okay, we now move to presentations, and we do have one presentation tonight, and with us is Jeff Irwin from the Southeast Surge Hockey Club. So welcome, Jeff. If you'd like to have a seat at the table, please. If you could make, I don't know if the microphone is on, and press the little button to turn red.
We'll give it a whirl. I'm usually fairly loud anyway, so.
There we go.
Okay, thank you very much for allowing me to speak to you tonight. Like you said, my name is Jeff Irwin. I'm currently the president of Central Perth Minor Hockey that play out of the Perth East Rec Complex and in Moncton. I'm also on the executive of the newly formed Southeast Surge. Just a brief synopsis of that for those who aren't familiar. The WAA, Western Ontario Athletic Association, last year started a 2-year pilot project to create A hockey, more competitive hockey. So what they've done is taken approximately 36 small centers like our Central Perth and combined them into 6 zones. Our zone includes Central Perth, which is Milverton and Moncton, Listowel, Wallace, Minto, Drayton, and Mount Forest. So now to ultimately rep hockey is consisting of that zone. So any children wanting to play or kids wanting to play U10 to U18 will try out for those zones. There's, like I said, there's 6 to play rep or competitive hockey, and the rest of the players stay within Central Perth, Listowel, Drayton minor hockey systems to play what we'll call recreational hockey for those that don't wish to play competitive or travel as much. The reason I'm here tonight is last year our tryouts now are in the spring as opposed to they used to be in the fall for Central Perth. Last year, Minto, Harrison Arena extended their ice season for us so we could host tryouts. They are not able to do that this year. We have talked to the other associations due to Drayton is putting new floor and boards in. There's events at different ones. And so I reached out to Becky regarding Perth East and the ability to extend their ice season to allow us to have tryouts. I understand the policy currently requires 20 hours a week to keep the ice in later than normal. In my report that I sent, I've listed some dates on there. Essentially what we're asking for is 6 extra weeks from be the month of April and the first 2 weeks of May. The OHF allows pre-skates to start March 2nd for all teams from AAA down to B, with AAA tryouts starting April 18th. And then consecutively the weeks after that, it goes AA, A, and then B. In part of it, in those hours, like I said, that your current policy, I believe, holds, which is 20 hours a week. I would like to see it preferably be more than that. 20 seems light for an extension of what we're asking for. I've talked to the Huron-Perth Lakers, who currently use the Perth East Complex. The Maitland Ice Sharks, who are a spring hockey team out of Listowel, the Central Perth Predators, girls hockey, who have evaluations in the spring, and our Surge. Ultimately, what we've come up with at the 20-hour per week policy, 6 weeks, that'd be 120 hours. The Surge itself needs almost 100 hours for our last 3 weeks of that. The Lakers have confirmed that they would be interested in renting ice as well. The Central Perth Predators require 25 hours, which they would guarantee to be used in Milverton. And the Ice Sharks have ultimately, for those 6 weeks, they're looking at the range they would like to use 40 hours. So those are local associations I've spoke with that would be willing to partner with us to get the guaranteed amount of hours to hopefully make it to make it feasible for the township to look at this request. Like I said, the Surge is ultimately leading this, and like I said, would be interested in entering into an agreement with the township if they so wanted to extend the ice season. Lots of the local, there's lots of players for the Lakers. Like I said, the Surge, I believe we had 26 players this year go from Central Perth to the Rep Association. So like I said, it's not like it's out of towners that would be using it. This is ultimately the representative arm of Central Perth Minor Hockey.
Okay, thank you. Questions from members of council? Amanda?
Thank you very much for your presentation and appreciate all the legwork you've done to date. I more so have a question for Becky. So obviously there was outreach to yourself in reference to the policy that exists. How much additional costs would this, from a budget standpoint, cost the township over and above if we were to proceed with the request in front of us?
Thank you, Amanda. Yes, I have done some preliminary calculations. The 20, as Jeff had indicated, he thought the 20 hours guarantee was a little on the light side, which it is. I think back when the policy was originally created, it was suitable, but now with the rising costs, if we were to only go with 20 hours a week, we would just basically break even with our additional expenses. If we were to go with 30 hours a week, it would cover our expenses, our additional expenses. So it wouldn't cover like our full-time operators who would be getting paid anyways, but the additional staff that we would require and the additional calculation on my utilities, it would cover that. Does that make sense? Yes. So if he's no, it would cover our additional expenses. Yes, yes, it would. Yes.
And if I can add, the ones I have personally looked into for those hours to somewhat try and guarantee, I believe the fact that there's not many rinks around that will stay in, ultimately Stratford will probably keep a sheet or two in. I think it will get used with other rentals of other groups. But like I said, these are the only ones I reached out to to try and, like I said, I'm pretty sure right now we're real close to that for the hours, the 30, because I knew the 20 would be led. So
Becky?
I can just add to that, in addition to what Jeff has gone out to some of the users, we've done also contacted our regular users. So like a couple of the groups said they would be interested. Mind you, they're only like an hour and a half a week or 2 hours, but they're still interested. Excuse me, Stratford, the Warriors, the boys minor hockey might be interested in it as well. I don't know if you reached out to them at all, but they replied back today saying that they might be interested, and the Stratford Aces, the girls hockey, might be interested in as well.
We might have more teams than we have ice.
Yes, yeah, that'll be the next thing. It's like we'll have to, come here, and then we don't have ice for
And
you. Oh,
our-
sorry.
and also our we're hoping going forward this pilot project will carry on after this first year. It seems successful enough. I think it will, that we wouldn't be possibly asking Perth East our hope is, Minto did it last year. If Perth East was to do it this year, we're hoping another municipality within our zone, because we have those 6 or 7, 8 different arenas in our zone, that next year hopefully another municipality would take it on. So we're not trying to put unless it's such a super success that you want to carry it on, that would be great. But our hope is maybe another municipality next year then would be interested. So.
Okay, other questions? You?
If we had Becky and you do a bit more work on this, if we had a report by our next meeting that we got at least the amount of ice time nailed down, would that be too late for you?
I don't think so. Not on my part. I don't know about yours, Becky, but yeah. And like I said, I could hopefully then we could for sure firm up some more numbers, and I could even reach out to some more groups that may be looking for ice too. So.
Jeremy?
Just to not have another report come back, like we could approve it now and say if we get 30 hours on average for those 6 weeks, then authorize Becky to go ahead with it instead of having another report in front of us and allowing them to plan a little bit better.
Amanda?
I think the other thing that we should maybe do is a housekeeping item on the current policy as well while we're looking at it, so we're not forgetting about it. So if we know that 20 hours is not enough to cover our basis, maybe we should be updating the policy as well, if it could be concurrent. I'm comfortable with, anyways, I don't know if we're able to move or we have to wait till new business to make a motion at this time, but I just wanted to flag the policy should be looked at as well.
Okay, Jared?
Yeah, thanks for you, Mayor. That's exactly what you'll need something.
Okay, other questions? Bob?
Yeah, I'm supportive of the concept, Jeff. I am concerned about the financial aspect. I also wonder about the overlapping seasons, work to do in the spring to get ready for whatever else. And maybe there are other projects at the arena that were to take place in this time frame when it'll be heavy nights. So I don't have the full picture, like the idea, but I think I need a little more in case Becky was going to say we have too much work to do. We can't accommodate getting the grass done, the flowers done, et cetera, Normal process, I think, is arrives and there's a lot of outside work to do, let alone dismantling the current operation and however long that takes to get rid of the ice and whatever else. So I just think there's a lot more to it than just what we've heard so far.
Can you comment on that, Becky, or?
Yes, it certainly would change the schedule as far as preparation for the pool and whatnot. However, I have calculated additional staff that would be able to assist with that, and it should be okay. But it is certainly going to change the whole schedule of the season. So some things might get rushed to get completed. It's gonna keep the boys on their toes and girls.
Okay, any more questions? I guess I have one. Would we require some kind of a deposit for our guarantee that it is going to happen? Like, I'm not saying it won't.
Nope.
But just that we're guaranteed that, we're gearing all up for this and then
Um,
something for
In our
circumstance.
policy, we don't request that, but if council wishes, we could ask for one within the agreement that we pulled together.
And I don't see a reason if it's not unreasonable, that the surge wouldn't, like I said, I'm hoping multiple associations will be able to create that, but the surge ultimately leading it, I don't think we would have an issue.
Okay, so what does council wish to do? Do you wish to send it back to staff and get a bit more information, or are you willing to have enough and you want to move forward to? Jeremy?
I think if Becky's confident that she can make this work and we get the 30 hours, I would like to move forward with it.
We're moving, motion
Yep.
to move forward. We have a seconder. Hugh? Any more comments, questions?
I don't know if there's an opportunity to add a part 2 to that we
We'll do
would
that in a separate motion to bring the
Okay.
policy back, okay? So that's,
need. Okay.
or did you add it? Okay. Yeah, I think we'll do the policy.
Sorry. Respectfully, can I just suggest though that if we're making condition on deposit and stuff like that, that should be that motion to me should go first. Because you're basically, if this motion passes and the second one doesn't, then we're proceeding without updating the policy. Anyways, I'm just from a procedure standpoint, it's just a thought, but if we want to just move forward and do it as a part 2, that's fine, but I'm thinking it would be the other way around in my opinion, but that's just thought, given that we had talk about the deposit and also the fact that the policy as it currently stands does not reflect the act.
Don't laugh at me,
No,
speak.
I understand council's, or some members of council's wanting to move forward quickly with this, but based on the ask, but I think Jeff and Serge are willing to provide a little bit of time. It would be, I think, advantageous that we have full report and the updated policy for council to consider, so we have all of this. I appreciate Becky's done a lot of legwork in preparation, knowing there will be conversation, and I know council wants to make a decision, but it would be my recommendation that send it back to staff and bring back the policy report as well as the updated policy that includes items like perhaps a requirement for deposit. And we can deal with it in our next meeting, which is February 3rd. That's my suggestion. We want to move forward. I think we'll struggle in terms of doing the resolution tonight, but we've done that before and we certainly can do that.
So I'll go back to the mover and the seconder. Just want to say, or do you want to withdraw?
Like, I want this to move ahead. I think we've done the legwork, but if we feel that, the policy is going to come back and probably say exactly what Becky's told us tonight, that we need 30 hours of ice to make it work. And there's going to be some other things circulated around that. Suggesting I withdraw the motion, and is that what would need to happen here?
Right, if you withdrew, then we would make a new motion asking for staff to bring a report back and an updated policy.
Okay, withdrawn.
Okay. All right, so that Council of the Township of Perth East received the presentation from Jeff Irwin, Southeast Surge Hockey Club, regarding a request for spring ice time at the Perth East Recreational Complex for information, and that council direct staff to bring a follow-up report. And maybe we'll put the policy on this one too. And that council direct staff to review the current policy. And that will take care of it. Okay? Mover and a seconder for that, Amanda. Andrew, any more comments or questions? All those in favor? Carried. Thank you for your presentation, and yes, we will get back to you after the February 3rd meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
If you need anything, Becky, you can.
Call you
I
on
guess.
that.
They have Wi-Fi, so I'll have my
Okay.
phone. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, next we have under other presentations, we have Dietrich Engineering Limited with a Rosaire Municipal Drain. I believe Chris is on the screen with us. Welcome, Chris. And the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mayor Eggetts and Council. I'm here today to present the Rosaire report, and I imagine drawing number 1 should be up on the screen, yet
Yep.
I don't seem to see it. Like I'm very zoomed in is my issue.
We can see the drawing.
Okay. So basically, again, good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm here to present the Rosaire report. Basically, we were assigned to update this municipal drain through the Drainage Act on September 3rd, 2025. The existing Rosaire municipal drain was originally constructed under a petition in 1978. W.E. Kelly and Associates Limited prepared a report that consisted of 6,056 linear feet of 8-inch diameter to 14-inch diameter tile. Basically, from the outlet in the Quincy drain towards the road, crossing the road, and up the east side of that roadway. And then to the property line between lots 4 and 5 of concession 2. I'm here today to present our new report. And our proposal is to construct a new drain in the same alleyway as the existing drain, an outlet into the Quincy drain, heading east towards is at Road 102. And if you wanted to switch now to a larger drawing, it would be drawing number 2. Sorry. So there it is there. You can see that the yellow line is the Quincy drain, and then our new drain is shown in red. It goes over to Road 102, crosses the road, and stops. There'll be a catch basin on both sides of the road. And it eventually heads northerly down the west road limit, crossing line 33, taking a 90-degree turn under Road 102 again, and stopping in Lot 5 of Concession 2. The length of our new drain is 527 meters long, and it consists of 450 millimeter diameter tile to 750 millimeter diameter tile, and is designed to a 38 millimeter per 24-hour drainage coefficient. We're also going to be cleaning out the Quincy municipal drain from where our outlet is down to the limit between Perth East and East Zurich Tavistock. We have estimated the cost of all this work, including the construction, allowances, and administration, at $220,500. And at this point, I'd be open to any questions from council.
Okay, thank you. I know we have 2 gentlemen in the audience who are interested in this drain. Do you have any questions?
I don't have a question, but
Could you come up to the microphone, please, so that it picks up your voice, and just tell us who you are as well?
I'm Tim Roth. I'm owner of Stony Brook Farm, which is where the main or the biggest tile goes through the farm. I've met with Bill a few times, and when I was looking over this final drawing, and where it goes under Road 102 to the east side of the road, I went down to that roadway on Friday after we had that big thaw. And as usual, water was just gushing through my field is the whole problem we're having. And there's a culvert that goes under the road 102 from the east side to the west side where my farm is. And the water was coming out of that culvert and it was just going straight into my field. So unless there's a burn there or a catch basin there, if the ditch is filled with snow and ice, that water is going to continue to go straight through and right into the field. So that would be my concern with the way this is designed. There's no catch basin and it's on my, I don't know, on my one sheet here that I got in my pamphlet.
Can you comment on that, Chris?
I'm just looking through, we held an information meeting and okay, so you were there as well. Was that brought up at that meeting?
No, it wasn't because I was unaware at that time that it was an issue. Like I said,
Okay.
I went down on Friday after that and I thought, I just want to take a look at where all this water's coming from when it's actually happening. And it definitely, like I said, it goes through that tile culvert under Road 102 and just goes straight into my field.
Yeah. And that doesn't surprise me.
So on the drawing here, it shows
existing-
it's 10 meters. The two catch basins are 10 meters from that culvert is what the drawing shows.
Yes, yeah, and that's where the catch basins will be. At time of construction or something like that, we can throw in an existing offset catch basin, whether it be in the main 24-inch or down to meet up with the existing ditch inlet catch basin. So you'd have two catch basins there to take water. And that would just be something very simple that we could add in at time of construction.
Okay, because I'm just afraid if it's done the way it is, it's not going to fix the problem. It's going to help, but it's not going to maybe eliminate 100% of it, which I'm hoping it's
Right.
going to because my field is taking a real abuse from this.
No, I would totally agree on that, for sure.
Okay, that is my thoughts. That's why I came here tonight.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions from members of council? Andrew?
Thank you, Mary. So with Mr. Rose's concerns, and it looks like drainage supervisor kind of agrees, so do we need to amend the report, or how do we get this in stone so that will actually happen? Things get lost and so.
I don't think we need to redo the report on that occasion. I just think it's a very small item that would be added in at time of construction.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, other questions? No, we don't have any more questions, and we do have a motion that Council of the Township of Perth East receive the report from Dietrich Engineering Limited, the Rose Sayre Municipal Drain 2025, serving parts of Lot 3 to 6, Concession 2, and parts of Lot 5 and 6, Concession 3, Township of Perth East, Southeast Hope Ward, County of Perth, and further that the quarterly revision for the Rose Sayre Municipal Drain 2025 be held on February 18, 2026 at 6:45 p.m. Need a mover and a seconder. Moved by Bob, second by Jerry. All in favor? Carried. Thanks, Chris.
No problem. Thank you.
Okay, moving on in our agenda, under delegations, we have no delegations. We have no public meetings. We have no public hearings. So now we're going to move to reports under the planning department. We have two. The first one is a consent application, B5025 by Matthew Orchard on behalf of Todd Fawcett, and we have Haley with us here tonight. So welcome, Haley.
Good evening. Good evening, Mayor and Councilors. I'll be presenting consent application B50-25 for a farm split severance located at 2348 Perth Line 43 in the Township of Perth East. I'd like to bring to Council's attention that the legal description in the recommendation should reflect the same description in the header of the submitted staff report. In the recommendation, the legal description has been included in error. The subject lands are designated agriculture with natural heritage features overlay in the county official plan and zoned agricultural zone and natural resource environment zone 2 in the Perth East zoning bylaw. The application proposes to sever an existing agricultural parcel into 2 separate farm lots. Both resulting parcels will exceed the minimum lot size requirements of the Perth East zoning bylaw and are intended to remain in agricultural production. The proposed severance will create 2 farm properties that are similar in size. Each parcel will be large enough to support continued agricultural uses and will provide farm operators with flexibility to expand or intensify their operations in the future. In accordance with guideline number 8 of the MAFA minimum distance separation publication, MDS 1 setbacks are required when a new agricultural lot is created. These setback requirements apply to both the retained and severed parcels. The applicant has submitted MDS calculations demonstrating that the subject lands meet the required separation distances from surrounding farm operations, and both parcels are able to comply with the MDS setback requirements. Based on this review, planning staff are supportive of the proposed severance, subject to the recommended conditions of consent approval being fulfilled. Thank you, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you. Questions of the report? You?
Not a question, it's just, in your, recommendations, unfortunately, you put, or somebody put, Zoki Stone instead of Moki Stone.
Through the chair, yes, that was an error on the report. It was a copy and paste error. So I'm just advising that the header is correct, but the recommendation is incorrect. So I apologize for that.
Okay, other questions? I have one, and I did raise this with Mike. The second condition there that we take, they provide cash in lieu of parkland for Township of Perth East. And normally, we don't have a rural community do that, but I can give you a little explanation, and then council can say yes or no, they want to do this.
Thanks, Mayor Roddick. Yeah, the practice as it relates to cash and lieu parkland policy is pretty, it basically says creation of a lot is subject to either land or cash and lieu, and we can charge $1,500 for when it's a severance. Typically, when we look at an agricultural area severance, the process has been for the CAO, myself, I typically look at whether the lot that's being created has the potential to be developed. That's kind of the trigger as to whether or not cash and lieu is collected or not. And when I say developed, in my mind, that means that there could be a house built on that property that would house people that would have access to our parklands and utilize our parkland. And that's the basis for that being included as a condition. Certainly, the conditions are Perth East and Perth East councils. If council wishes to remove that as a condition, major issue, but I just want to provide the thought process as it relates to.
Okay? You? Okay, anyone else? Bob?
Yes, Haley, I do have a question about the MDS. Why the operation at lot 24 and 25 in concession 6 is not included, because it would be the largest operator in the area, unless of course they're the one buying this farm. It just seemed odd that they're not included, where all these other smaller operations are, and you have an answer to that, but that's just an obvious one to me.
Through the chair, unfortunately, I am not the author of this report nor the reviewer of the application. I can certainly look into that for further information and it can be brought back to staff or council.
It's not a big deal. I mean, you and I are quite familiar with this area, and I just expected to see that operation included, but maybe assume they were also purchasing this property, so it wouldn't maybe be necessary for them to be included. MDS is always thing when it comes to these reported signals. They're relevant to this report.
Just further to that, I don't think we need MDSO when it's a severance, do we? Because they're not building anything.
Through the chair, MDS 1 applies for the severance. I think, are you speaking of the barn that's on the severed property? Or is there another? Sorry.
I guess when you just have a lot that you're gonna sever, you might assume there'll be a house built, and you would like to know where that would be located.
Through the chair, they will have to do MDS if they are requesting to go through a building permit to build a house. So that will be looked at if they do decide to do.
Okay, all right. Okay, so then we have a motion that Council of the Township of Perth East received the report dated January 13, 2026, prepared by the planner, submitted by Matthew Orchard on behalf of Todd Fawcett, affecting lands described as part of lots 24 and 25 in Section 7, Northeast Hope Ward, 2348, Perth Line 43 for information, and that council advise the Land Division Committee or its delegated authority that the Township of Perth East supports application file B50-25 submitted by Matthew Orchard of Monteith Richmond Phillips Professional Corporation for lands described as parts of lot 24 and 25 in Section 7, Northeast Hope Ward, Township of Perth East, subject to the following conditions. Perth East has 4 conditions. Number 1, that a letter is provided by the clerk of the Township of Perth East advising the Secretary Treasurer of the Land Division Committee all requirements for Perth East financial services and otherwise have been complied with. Number 2, confirmation be received that the enforcement schedule for municipal drains in the area be reviewed. Number 3, confirmation be received that the severed and retained lots have been assigned separate municipal addresses and signs. And number 4, that confirmation be received that road access to the severed and retained parcels are to the satisfaction of Perth East. And then the County of Perth has 2 conditions. 1, that confirmation be received from a solicitor that the certificate of the official will be scanned and attached to the electronic registration of the transfer. And the second one, the Land Division Committee be provided with a description that is consistent with the application and equal to that required for registration of the deed/transfer. I need a mover and a seconder. Moved by Hugh, second by Amanda. Comments or questions? All in favor? Carried. Okay, and then the next item on our agenda is a consent application P5325 by Trevor Cross on behalf of Bert and Nancy Lopez. So, Haley, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I believe the wrong presentation is on the screen. Is it?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, I apologize. Sorry. Thank you. I'll be presenting consent application B53-25, formerly B17-23, for a lot addition located at 985069 Perth Oxford Road in the Township of Perth East. The subject lands are designated agriculture with natural heritage features overlay in the county official plan and zoned agricultural zone and natural resource environment zone 2 in the Perth East zoning bylaw. The application before you proposes to sever a portion of the property located at 985069 Perth Oxford Road and add it to the neighboring property at 985019 Perth Oxford Road. A previous consent application known as B17-23 received conditional approval on August 28, 2023. However, that approval lapsed on August 28, 2025. As a result, the applicant has submitted a new consent application that proposes the same lot addition. The purpose of the proposed lot addition is to correct an existing lot line issue where a dwelling has been constructed across the current property boundary. The portion of the lands zoned Natural Resource Environment Zone 2, or NRE2, is located on the retained lot and will not be affected by the proposed lot line adjustment. Based on this review, planning staff are supportive of the proposed severance, subject to the recommended conditions of consent being fulfilled. Thank you, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you. Questions of the report? Seeing no questions, we do have a motion that the Council of the Township of Perth East receive the report dated January 13, 2026, prepared by the planner, submitted by Trevor Croft on behalf of Bert and Nancy Logan, affecting lands described as part of Lot 24, Concession 6, Southeast Hope Ward, 985069 Perth Oxford Road, for information, and that the Council of the Township of Perth East council advise the Land Division Committee or its delegated authority that the Township of Perth East supports the application file B53-25 submitted by Trevor Croft for lands described as Part Lot 24, Concession 6, Southeast Hope Ward, Township of Perth East, subject to the following conditions. The first two conditions are Perth East conditions. Number one, a letter is provided by the clerk of the township advising the Secretary Treasurer of the Land Division Committee that all requirements for the township financially, services, and otherwise have been compiled with. And number two, that confirmation be received from the Township of Perth East that the enforcement schedule for municipal drains in this area be reviewed and updated to the satisfaction of the township. The county has 4 conditions. The first one is that confirmation be received from a solicitor that the certificate of the official be scanned and attached to the electronic registration of the transfer. The second one, the Land Division Committee be described with a description that is consistent with the application and equal to that required for registration of the deed/transfer. The third one, that the applicants engage a surveyor to determine if the driveway for the neighboring lot to the west, 985069 Perth Oxford Road, South Part Lot 24, Concession 6, owned by the Wayne Shrum, crosses the several parcel, and if that driveway does be part of the severed parcel, that an easement be registered over the severed parcel to permit the access for 985069 Perth Oxford Road. And the fourth one, at a solicitor undertaking shall be received, which shall be the effect that at the time of the registration of the transfer to which the certificate under section 53 of the Planning Act is affixed, the names of the owners of the abutting land to which this parcel is being joined, Trevor and Bethany Croft, are the same as the transferees in that said transfer, that a solicitor undertaking be received by the County of Perth to the effect that the severed parcel be added as a lot addition abutting parcel described as Part Lot 24, Concession 6, Southeast Hope Ward, Township of Perth East. I think that's it. So we have a mover and a seconder for that. I tried to give you the condensed vote. Moved by Hugh, second by Jerry. All those in favor? Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Haley. Okay, we'll move down to the CIO has no report. The clerk, we're lifting a 1-foot reserve block. Turn it over to Ashley.
Hey, thanks, Mary Agats. So this report is just to recommend to council the approval of a bylaw to lift the blocks known as Block 24 on Plan 535 and Block 54 on Plan 44 and 53. Those are both within Phase 3 of the East subdivision in Milverton here. And the lifting of those would grant the residential units and houses back in there, there's semis in there as well, the legal access that they need. It's a formality through the subdivision agreement. I can try to answer any questions if there's any.
Okay, questions on the report? Seeing no questions, we do have a motion that Council of the Township of Perth East received a report entitled Lifting of 1-foot Reserve Block CLE-2026-03 dated January 13, 2026, prepared by the Manager of Legislative Services / Municipal Clerk for information, and further that Council give 3 readings to Bylaw 03-2026, being a bylaw to establish certain lands known as Block 24 of Plan 535 and Block 54 on Plan 44M-53 within the township as a public highway, and the bylaw be registered on title. Moved by Andrew, second by Amanda. All those in favor? Ashley? We'll now move to finance. First one is a tile loan from William Kipper. Paula?
Thank you, Mayor Agats. The report before council tonight is related to the original tile loan application approved in December of 2024. The applications are valid for 2 years, so they have 2 years to complete the work and come back for the loan. The original application was submitted for $61,200, so that would have been a $50,000 original loan and then a continuation loan of $11,200. However, the actual project cost came in significantly lower than the original estimates. So the loan amount being prepared is 26,900, and the continuation loan will not be required for this. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Thank you. Questions of the report? Seeing no questions, we have a motion that Council of the Township of Perth East receive the report entitled Tile Loan, William Kipler, FIN 2026-02, dated January 13, 2026, prepared by the Deputy Treasurer, Asset Management Coordinator for information, and further that Council of the Township of Perth East approve a tile drainage loan of 26,900 as to drain lands described as Concession 6, North Part Lot 5, North Part Lot 6, Mornington Ward, owner of property roll number 3110-320-003-01900-0000, 4679 line 72. Mover and a seconder. Moved by Hugh, second by Bob. All in favor? Carried. Okay, and the second one is interior regulation budget matter.
Thank you, Mayor Agat. This report proposes or denotes the exclusions from the 2026 budget. So they're non-cash transactions that aren't included in the budget. The first one being the 2026 amortization costs in the estimate of $2.9 million have not been included in the 2026 budget. However, included in the 2026 budget are capital asset replacements in the amount of $8.7 million. So when these are transferred in, there's going to be an accumulated surplus. It's just a non-cash transaction. The other item of Ontario Regulation 28409 is post-employment benefits. The Township of Perth East don't offer these, so there is none that have been included or excluded from the 2026 budget. The third item for the Ontario regulation is the landfill reserves. And there's reserves in the amount of $475,000 that have been designated for the landfill site rehabilitation and post-closure expenses. So that concludes my report. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Okay, thank you. Questions on the report? Seeing no questions, we have a motion that Council of the Township of Perth East receive a report titled Ontario Regulation 284-09, Budget Matters 2026 Expenses, FIN 2026-03, prepared by the Manager of Financial Services Treasurer, dated January 13, 2026, for information. Moved by Jeremy, second by Jerry. All in favor? Carried. Thanks, Paula. Okay, we're moving to Public Works, and the first item on Public Works is a food cycler presentation hall. Okay.
Thanks, Mary Gitz. My first report tonight is in response to a public presentation that occurred on November 4th in 2025, which covered food cyclers and the potential for initiating a pilot program here in Perth East. Council had asked staff to prepare a follow-up report on the matter. Quick reminder for council that the food cyclers are essentially small countertop composters designed to take household food waste, break it down into like a small soil-like material through the course of a cycle. They essentially work by drying the food by applying heat, and then they're slowly ground into smaller particles. Now, as part of the pilot program, residents would essentially volunteer to be included in the study, which takes place over the course of 12 weeks. Over this period, participants would use the food cyclers, gather feedback, and track their food waste through this period. And then at the end of those 12 weeks, they would be asked to complete a survey, and the results of the survey could be used for either expansion of the program or potentially pulling it back. Now, the team that presented this to council there in November, they recommend a pilot program which includes 200 households for a population between 10 20,000 residents, which we are. Now, should the township partner with Food Cycler, a discount would be provided on these units distributed for the pilot. There's two models that they offer. There's an Eco 3 and the Eco 5, which are 300 and 500 or 400 rather dollars respectively, with capacity being the difference. Now, as presented by the Food Cycler team, the township would subsidize these units for participants, and the township would be looking at an investment, depending on sizes, between 60 and 80,000. If you did a pilot of 200, if you scaled that back to 100, you're looking at between 30 and 40,000 from a municipal investment standpoint. Well, there's obviously there's obvious positives to these food cyclers being used in any community. We did do some research in terms of the drawbacks on these units. And one thing I thought worth highlighting for council is the operating costs of these units. Basically, the one thing that was not really picked up in the presentation, there's carbon filters that are required to be replaced every 3 to 4 months. Each filter, you're looking at about $45. And then there's some small costs associated with hydro. You're looking at about $160 to $230 annually just to run these units. Further to that, it does not include any component failures, such as grinders or element breakdowns. So those would be additional costs. And there's also some limitations in terms of which foods these things can handle. A couple quick examples: liquids, fats, corn cobs, fruit pits are not recommended to be to put in these units. So, given the costs of operating these units, the limitations of which food can be put into them, and the initial investment required, staff would recommend not pursuing a pilot program at this point in time. Staff feel that using a technology like food cyclers kind of disproportionately benefits a small percentage of residents while being funded by the broader tax base. Staff also feel that primarily rural municipalities like us, many residents have the desire to compost food waste are already doing so. And lastly, these units are available for anybody to purchase directly if they so desire. And there's multiple units on the market at a range of price points should anybody wish to explore these. If there are any questions, I will try to answer those.
Okay, questions of the report, Amanda?
I just have a comment and a question. So appreciate all the work you put in on the report. I don't think it's a good use of taxpayer dollars. And I didn't when they made the presentation. And I think we really need to be focused more on our landfill and investing on diversion tools. That's probably a better use of our dollars. But the question I have, apologies to put folks on the spot, more to do with process, because I think when they did the presentation, we received the report for information, which from my perspective, it means there's no action. But then they have followed up, and then you have put in a great deal, like you put in a lot of time on the report, when in my view, probably need to come back to council, because from my view, we already made a decision by not taking action when they made the presentation. Does that make sense? So I'm just trying to understand process, because I think we've received it for information. It looks like they have followed up because they're wanting to get a response. Or did I not, or did I miss it?
Through the mayor, I believe there was a recommendation.
Did we ask?
There was a
for staff
resolution
report?
for staff.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought that there wasn't.
Bob?
Yeah, I'm the guilty party that I asked for. Initially, I was excited by the presentation. Appreciative of the background work. Jake, obviously, it's not feasible. Just thinking of municipalities that pick up green waste, have the green bin and pick up waste. Any way to divert waste. I thought in a small town like Melbourne might be something that we picked up on, but I had no idea what the extra costs were. So obviously it's not feasible. I think that's the value of someone else doing the work rather than me looking or hearing, thinking that's a good idea. Thanks for the report, and I'm happy to.
Okay, anyone else? So we have a motion that the Council of the Township of Perth East receives a report entitled Food Cycle Presentation Follow-Up PUB 2026-02 dated January 13, 2026, prepared by the Manager of Public Works for information. Moved by Bob, second by Hugh, all in favor? Carried. Okay, and the next report is the landfill mattress diversion. Okay,
Hey, thanks again, Mayor Agates. This one doesn't stray too far from the last report in terms of topic. This one, council will be aware, staff have been exploring potential for mattress and box spring diversion for better part of a couple of years now, and really have been awaiting a new potential solution through one of Blue Water Recycling's partners, being Tri Recycling. The only option known really to staff prior to this was a company out of Woodbridge, Ontario called Recycle Mattress. And there were a few drawbacks there that I'll note. The main one being they would only accept mattresses in a certain condition. There were limitations on the state of the mattresses, so that gets to be challenging in terms of sorting through what we accept and what would ultimately end up in our landfill. And the other part is with that company, we had to arrange for the transportation in getting it to Woodbridge, which is in the GTA, so not particularly close. Now, in recent communications with the BRA, Tri Recycling has established a means of recycling mattresses out of London. The difference in this program, mattresses can be accepted in any state. And additionally, collection will be coordinated and handled entirely by Tri Recycling, which will be taken into London, which is a lot closer to GTA. So both of those being very advantageous from staff perspective. So should council wish to implement any form of mattress and box spring diversion, one of the first things we need to do is get a means of storage secured at the landfill. So staff would propose the purchase of a shipping container, C-can, which can be purchased for relatively cheap. They typically come in 20 and 40 foot sections. In this case, a 20-foot section would fit perfectly next to the existing concrete barriers that are at the transfer station, and they can fit up to approximately 200 mattresses, which is plenty in terms of storage for us. Now, the cost of actually diverting these, there's a processing cost of $12.75 per unit, regardless of size. And then there's a haulage cost, which is $700 per load, which I'm told by Tri is typically between 110 and 120 per load, which includes an hour for loading time. There's additional loading time at $75 an hour above, but this works out to roughly just under $19 a mattress or box spring. Given some of the uncertainties with implementing this program, staff would recommend a trial to better understand the process and really nail down a more accurate cost of diverting each unit. So in 2026, staff would propose we initiate a trial for the remainder of the year. And leading up to the fees and charges bylaw coming to council in advance of 2027, I would propose that staff bring back a report to nail down a cost for recovery purposes in the fees and charges schedule. Additionally, as part of the recommendation, staff would be requesting a budget amendment to the amount of $10,000. This would allow us to purchase the CCAN, some signage there, and cover the cost of diversion to the trial. And it would be proposed this would be funded by the landfill waste diversion reserve, which at this point has a healthy balance. And further to this, I am continuing to explore other diversion possibilities, and two of the main ones through tri-recycling that I've been exploring are asphalt shingles, and there's also the potential of construction and demolition debris diversion. It's just a matter of space at this point is a bit of an issue, but with the expansion coming up, we'll be looking to incorporate some of these things there if possible. So if there are any questions on the report, I'll try to answer those.
Okay, questions of the report? Here,
Not so much the report, it's a good report, but the construction material, like, is that a fair amount of stuff that you're getting there now? That's what's making it fill up so fast.
Through the mayor, it's one of the many things that are obviously filling it up. We do get a fair bit. It's not something we're tracking specifically separate from the other waste, but through my time visiting the landfill and even having conversations with the operator there, we do get a fair bit. So that's certainly something that I think in the future would be good to slow down and divert if possible.
Andrew?
Thank you, Mayor. I get a little creeped out about why someone would want a good mattress, but I would think they would just all grow in the grinder. But anyway, so the fees, I was gonna ask, do you think it'll be, I know you haven't done it yet, it'll be on top of the $10 flat rate, or it just as if you're just bringing a mattress? Because we don't want people just saying, well, I can't take it to the dump, it's gonna end up on the side of the road, right? So which happens.
Yeah, through the mayor, these are things I'll look at leading up to that report you bring back, but I'm at this point kind of envisioning separate costs. Specifically for a mattress in the fees and charges schedule, where say you bring a single mattress, you pay that fee. There's obviously the $10 minimum charge, but that wouldn't apply in that particular case. It's kind of what I'm thinking at this point, but those are things I'll look at.
And you're thinking kind of like the electronics, there'll just be a bin, people walk their own stuff in, so that.
That's right. Yeah, these are things I'd like to
Perfect.
iron out in advance and establish.
Thank you.
Okay, other questions, Jerry?
Yeah, just a comment, thanks, Jake. Just to think about over the years, you comment about like, compacting. I can imagine how many mattresses are in there now, from the amount of time and how much is wasted. I don't know, that's a very good program, I think we should.
Okay. So then we do have a motion that Council of the Township of Perth East receive the report entitled Landfill Mattress Diversion, PUB-2026-03, dated January 13, 2026, prepared by the Manager Public Works for information, and that Council authorize a trial mattress diversion program in 2026, and that Council approve a capital budget amendment in the amount of $10,000 to conduct a trial for mattress and box spring diversion at the Southeast Hope landfill to be funded from the Landfill Waste Diversion Reserve, and that Council directs staff to prepare a report prior to 2026 amendment of the fees and charges bylaw outlining results of the trial, options for the execution of a formal contract, and potential cost recovery measures for the program moving forward. Moved by Jerry, second by Amanda. In favor? Thanks, Jake. Okay, we have nothing from building. Moving to Parks and Recreation, we have the first one is 2026 Ontario Trillium Foundation Capital Grant. Becky?
Thanks, Mayor Rhonda. Before you is the report with the request to apply for Ontario Trillium Capital Grant project, that being the extension of the Pete Harloff Trail that would go around the new portion of the Greenwood Park. You can see that was on the layout in the attached to the attachment to the report. This was a in the original concept plan. So it would extend around there. Obviously, it could be used for walking and that. A school can also be using it for track and running around that. The estimate cost of the project would be about 18,000. I see that. I don't think that it's in the copy report that you got, so somehow it didn't get into it. So the estimated cost is $18,000, and it would not proceed unless there was unless we received the grant. If there's any questions?
Okay, questions of the report? No questions, and we have a motion that Council of the Township of Perth East receive the report prepared by the Manager of Parks, Recreation, and Community Services dated January 13, 2026, entitled 2026 Ontario Trillium Foundation Capital Grant, PRCS-2026-02 for information, and that Council directs staff to apply for the 2026 Ontario Trillium Foundation Capital Grant to extend the Pete Harloff Trail. Moved by Amanda, second by Jeremy. All those in favor? Carried. Okay, and the next report is the RBC Barrier Buster Grant application.
Yes, thanks, Mayor Rhonda. Came across this opportunity for a grant for accessible needs. One of the things that is not accessible at the PERC is our reception desk. It does not provide the appropriate standards that the accessibility standards have. At this point in time, I do not have a estimate on the cost of replacing that that unit. I have someone taking a look at it last week, and I haven't got a quote for it yet. So I'm guessing anywhere between 5 and 10. That's purely a guess. Again, there's no matching dollars required with this application, and it would not proceed unless we receive the funds. One other issues that we're having with the layout of this desk is if they're coming out of the arena lobby with their hockey equipment and whatnot, and all of a sudden there's a bang, there's the corner of the desk. So the idea is to make it a rounded to suit the room. If there's any
Okay.
questions, sorry.
You?
Becky, because this is accessible, at some point in time, we have to move it, whether you get the grant or not. But do you know what the end of what year that is?
Last year, 2025 was the year when everything was supposed to be successful. But yes, it definitely has to be on the list at some point in time. So.
Okay, any other questions? If not, we have a motion that Council of the Township of Perth East receive the report prepared by the Manager of Parks, Recreation, and Community Services dated January 13, 2026, entitled RBC Barrier Buster Grant Application, PRCS-2026-03 for information, and that Council directs staff to apply for the RBC Barrier Buster Grant for an accessible reception station at PERC. Moved by Hugh, second by Bob. All those in favor? Carried. Okay, and the third one is the Joint Health and Safety Committee.
Thanks, Mayor Rhonda. As in front of you there is a report from the Joint Health and Safety Committee. I'm co-chair of that committee, and I just bring forward information as to what we have reviewed as a committee and the actions that we have taken as far as inspections throughout the workplaces. And if there's any further questions, the answer.
Okay, thank you. Questions of the report? Seeing no questions, we have a motion that Council of the Township of Perth East receive the report prepared by the Joint Health and Safety Committee Chair dated January 13, 2025, entitled Joint Health and Safety Committee 2025 Annual Report JHSC-2025-001 for information. Moved by Hugh, second by Jerry. All in favor? Carried. Thanks, Becky. Now we're gonna move to fire, and we have the Milverton Station fire sign. Bill?
Great, thanks, Mayor Higgins and council. This report was prepared after council's direction to review the operation of the Milverton fire siren, following some concerns raised by local residents. The siren's been a part of our volunteer fire service for decades and serves as a secondary alerting system for firefighters. While pagers and mobile apps are our primary tools, they are not always reliable due to firefighters' activities, building construction, or network interruptions. The siren provides an important layer of redundancy that helps ensure timely emergency response, as well as a reasonable level of public awareness, particularly given the park and the library beside the station. At the same time, we recognize that the siren has an impact on nearby residents. The standard time frame that has been in place for decades has been 7 in the morning till 7 at night. Staff, as council will see in the report, staff are recommending that a compressed operational period starting at 8 o'clock in the morning until 5 p.m. be adopted. This would reduce the number of siren cycles and sleep interruptions by approximately 50% annually, specifically by eliminating those early morning, evening, and the weekly test activations. Staff are also recommending that the fire chief complete a comprehensive review of the fire siren and bring another follow-up report to council in 12 months. Staff feels that this approach balances respect for nearby residents with the need to protect our emergency response reliability and public safety. And I'll gladly answer any questions.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, I'm dealing with a family emergency at the same time, but we got it figured out, so. Sorry, I wasn't quite paying attention. Any questions? Get my husband in the right place at the right time. He's there. Sorry. Okay, any questions from anyone? Andrew?
Thank you, Mayor Gibbs. I'm sorry, I just saw this now. So when the fire hall was down by Home Hardware, how long have we had the fire hall up here? 10 years?
2017
2007
was when it was built, yes.
So 10 years. And I'm just concerned, I like the fact that we're trying to work with it and fix it. Two things. One is it's not gonna, by having the 8 to 5, it's still gonna affect shift workers, right? So, and I'm just wondering, is there any way we can squeeze the timeline on this? Can we maybe bring it back to a fire committee? Do we have a fire committee next year? Okay, but maybe take it to a fire committee meeting for good discussion with it, like shorter period than that, just because there is a concern, right? That's one thing. Is that a possibility in your, or do you think it'll take 12 months to cycle through
With the reduction in the operational period, the biggest change is it eliminates the test pages that typically happen between 4 to 6 and 6 o'clock. Every test page generates 2 siren cycles per week, so that's 104 cycles over the course of the year. Those would be eliminated. Further reductions in the operational period will kind of reduce the reason why we have it for that redundancy for our pagers. So we're already looking at a significant reduction and 100% elimination in the test page.
Okay, no, that's definitely an improvement. I'm just wondering, I was hoping to see some policy or an FDA guideline or something. I know it's kind of an established procedure. I was hoping for a little legislation to kind of guide our way on this one. But, no, thanks for the report.
Okay, Hugh, you have a question?
How many firefighters in Milverton? Like most everybody at the station.
The 23, 22 live within the confines of very close to Milverton. Most of them are inside Milverton. Yes. Yes.
Amanda?
I'm struggling with this one because it's not really, well, the direction was for you to bring back a report, but I think I'm struggling with it because I just don't think it fully captures, it doesn't erase the issue that was presented to us. And I'm just concerned about, I actually liked Councillor McAlpine's suggestion of doing a deeper dive at fire committee tackling this, because what's not captured here is like what was brought to us when the presentation is the analysis of other fire halls and what they do and don't do.
That is noted in the report.
Okay.
All the Perth County departments are in the report.
But neighboring, like other areas.
The Perth County departments were, that's what I put in the report. The
Hold on a
paragraph
second.
on page 2, I
Correct.
believe.
To page 3, which page?
2 of 4, so it's page 221, on the last paragraph.
Last paragraph.
We talked to other Perth County Fire Departments about the usage of fire sirens.
Staff contacted, okay. Right, so like some of them don't even have sirens.
Yes.
Like I guess I'm just struggling with it because we're just recommending a reduction in hours, not that we get rid of it.
We're recommending a reduction in operational hours and a review over the next 12 months with a more comprehensive report to come back to council.
But why 12 months?
Um,
Like what's the rationalization for that? It seems like a long time.
Yes.
Because the other issue that I have with that is we're in an election year. So we have an election in October, so we're gonna hit this lame duck period and stuff too. So I'm just a bit concerned about that bit.
12 months would put it before the next term of council. So it wouldn't fall within the lame duck period.
Right, so this council doesn't, so basically the new council will not get the context of the issue at hand. Like, that's my concern here, is like, why does it have to be 12 months? Like, what's the rational, what
If
is,
council wanted a shorter period of time, we could certainly look at that. 12 months was looked at. Typically, we would want to do some more comprehensive engagement with the community. Basing a decision to stop using the siren on a petition with 14 names on it doesn't really take in the entire community. So it would take some time, not saying it would take a full 12 months, but it would certainly take some time for us to put together a community survey, circulate that, we could certainly run some noise sampling. That would be part of the process, and get a fulsome report back before council that is more reflective of the entire community rather than just a petition with 14 names on.
I think that's fair. I still have concerns about 12 months. Like, I think something like 6 months, and then we're tackling this in the summer before, like, I don't think a new council should be dealing with this issue. But I hear you, Bill, on taking a more fulsome approach before making a big decision. So I hear you on that. I just don't like the 12 months. I think that's, in my personal opinion, like I think this council has the context. I think it would be helpful to expedite it and make it a priority, but that's just me. So I can't support that bit. I would like to see it done in 6 months.
Well,
Yeah, I take a little different approach. I highly value the contribution of our volunteers. And if it helps one person get to a critical incident, then I think it's worthwhile. It's something that everyone's been aware of in a community like this for a long time. If you're going to remove the siren for the firefighters, you may as well start making the police not use their siren or the ambulance not use their siren. You're opposed to the gun club on the edge of town. Again, that's something people in Milford have been used to for decades, right? I've talked to more than 14 people about this issue, and I think everybody said the exact same thing. It's something that you just get used to and you don't even notice it in time. I grew up in the gun club and the siren. I've been around a time here over the years. I'm surprised the siren in communities isn't used for other things, like emergency, like what happened in North Perth when they had an ammonia leak. That would be helpful to alert everybody, but I know you'd have to have a whole. I'm not supportive of any depth study on this at all. I think it is here. If you have had a problem in the past, you would have heard about it. My years on council, I've never heard anybody bring this issue forward. You live in Shakespeare, you're used to the train, you're used to the traffic. I think you just get used to things. I think this person who came here has a right to voice their opinion. Respect that they work different hours and they have a family that is growing. Unfortunately, in the location they are, it's going to be impacting them more than others. And I respectfully think that this report wasn't really necessary because I fully support our volunteers.
Okay, anyone else? Who wants to move what? Gary?
I'd like to move the first two paragraphs of the recommendation, eliminate the last two.
Okay, so Council of Township of Perth East received the Milverton Station Fire Siren FIR-2026-02 report prepared by the Manager of Fire Services / Fire Chief dated January 13, 2026 for information, and further that Council endorse the Fire Chief's recommendation to alter the operational hours of the siren to 8.00 to 17.00 effective immediately. Correct? Okay, moved by Jerry. Do we have a seconder? Seconder first, please. Do I have a seconder? Bob? Okay, sorry, now question. Yep,
Discussing it?
yes, now discussion.
I'm fine with changing the hours. I just don't see that there's a need to do this giant review with the community. I think you'll end up, yes, we don't notice the fire siren. No, we don't want it. And it's opinion based, I think, at that point. So I'm not in support of the second part of the motion.
I didn't read that, but the motion only states about receiving it for information and change in the operational hours, and the last part's not there. I didn't read it, but we took that.
I'm sorry, I thought Jerry said the first two parts of the motion, and I understood that to be the first two and furthers. I will, okay. So the motion is just
Just the,
reducing the hours.
yeah,
Okay, thank you.
yeah, sorry, information
I'm
and,
sorry.
and the hours. That's all the motion was for. Andrew?
Thank you, Mary. So yeah, this is obviously a hot political potato, which is cool. It's a good discussion. I think that a person's home in general is kind of their castle. You can't go anywhere else to hide from something, whether it's a barking dog, an inconsiderate neighbor, or apparently a first responder is one of the people who was complaining, right? So do we want them sleepless, doing whatever job they're doing to support the community? I hope they're okay and we're okay after that. So I think this would be what I feel is the firemen that I know are all very professional and very understanding and good, kind-hearted people. And I don't think they would mind, the firemen would mind this siren going away completely. So I agree, we don't need a report. It's a yes or no to the siren. So I won't be supporting this basically because of the 12-month time frame.
Okay, anyone else?
Sorry, the 12-month period is not part of the motion though,
No.
right?
12-month?
It's just the receipt for information and change the hours.
How may I reread it? This is what it says.
Sorry.
Council of the Township of Perth East received the Milverton Station Fire Siren report prepared by the Manager of Fire Services / Fire Chief dated January 13, 2026 for information, and further that council endorse the fire chief's recommendation to alter the operational hours of the siren to 8 o'clock to 1700 hours effective immediately. That's it. Okay? All right, everybody clear? That last part is not there. That's all that Jerry moved and Bob seconded. Jerry?
May I make a quick comment then? To have our fire chief work on this for 12 months, fire chief has far better, more important things to do, whether it be training, whether it be looking for new apparatus. There's far more important things that our fire chief can do in these next 12 months instead of looking at or surveys, community.
Okay, so all those in favor of the motion, receiving it for information and changing the operational hours. All those in favor? Those opposed? It's carried. Okay, thanks, Bill. We have no correspondence. We have mayor's meeting log. There's where I was for the month of December. Any comments, questions? Nope. Okay, council reports. Is there any council reports in any of the committees or boards, Jerry?
Couple, the library board, board's been working on our strategic plan update. So we're looking to have that finalized, I hope and approved at our February meeting. Did some work on that tonight at our meeting for the library. The second one was our OPP, Perth County OPP board. We did get accepted to delegate at the upcoming conference in Roma next week. We actually get two. We're meeting with the Solicitor General and the Ministry of Health in regards to the MCERT, which is the Mobile Crisis Response Unit. We did receive some funding again, but we're looking at perhaps a long-term funding framework. Again, we have those delegations with those two ministries funded.
Okay, anyone else? Not, then we need a motion to receive the mayor's meeting log and the verbal reports. Moved by Andrew, second by Amanda, all in favor? Okay, we're down to bylaws. So we have first and second reading of bylaws. We have 5 bylaws. We have the bylaw 01/2026, a bylaw to provide for interim tax levies for the year of 2026. The second bylaw is bylaw 02/2026, a bylaw to authorize the borrowing of money to meet the 2026 current expenditures. The third one is bylaw 03/2026, a bylaw to establish certain lands within the township as a public highway, and that was item 8.3.1 tonight. The fourth one is bylaw 2026-01, being a tile drain loan for Mr. Kipper, and that was under 8.4.1. And the fifth one is bylaw 101/2026, provisional bylaw for the Rosaire Municipal Drain, and that was item 6.2.1. So we're having first and second readings of those bylaws. We need a mover and a seconder for that. Moved by Amanda, second by Jeremy. All in favor? Carried. Excuse me. And then third and final reading, we have bylaw 01/2026, a bylaw to provide for interim tax levies for the year of 2026. The second one is bylaw 02/2026, a bylaw to authorize the borrowing of money to meet the 2026 current expenditures. The third one is 03-2026, a bylaw to establish certain lands within the township as a public highway. And the fourth one is bylaw 2026-01, and it's a tile drain loan for Mr. Kipper. We need third and final reading for those three. Moved by Andrew, second by Hugh. In favor? Carried. Do we have any notice of motions? No. Okay. We do have one item under other business, and that has to do with our waterfall agriplex. I hope you all remember the night we had Mr. Eversole here with us, and Tony from Percon was here as well. We've had some consultation with Matthew Ray today, and I'll let Mike explain it a little further what we're looking for.
Yeah, very quickly, the group that wants to proceed with the Agriplex has asked for consideration of council to support them proceeding with the minister's zoning order. It's a time-sensitive project in terms of the proponents need to be able to show advancements along the planning framework in order to secure some of the events that they hope to host at the Agriplex. So they've asked us, the township and council in particular, to consider passing a resolution of support when they proceed with a zoning order request. The zoning, I don't want to convey that there's a problem as it relates to planning approvals. It's more of a time issue. In our consultation with MP Ray, he's confident that a zoning order can address the zoning demands associated with this unique project, but also that it can be done in a 3 to 4 month time frame, which I think is advantageous to the applicant. So we're trying to be supportive, but we also know that this is something that council is aware of, so we want to keep you aware of that circumstance as well. And the potential around the resolution was brought forward, and we discussed it with them earlier today. So I have drafted something for council to consider, but certainly understand that want more time. It's just about timing. They want to move forward with the project and believe that the English zoning order is the most appropriate planning format to
So just a refresher, it is, all we're doing is saying that we support it. It's up to the company that is looking for it to do the presentation to municipal affairs. It's not us. All we're doing, we're part of it, kind of, but we're not. They're the ones that will do the presentation. They're the ones who apply, not us. All they're getting is support from us. Amanda?
So I have two questions. One, so I really like the project, but my concern actually draws back from our original discussion and has to do with the services, right? Like, have we figured out if we have the capacity to take it on? And what's like, because that's my big concern is we say, yeah, if this is, because I think there was, my mind's a bit fuzzy on it. There was 3 planning avenues or options. And I'm surprised that the M&O is going to be the fastest.
I am too, frankly.
Who's saying that it's going to be the fastest?
Because of the uniqueness of what they're proposing, initially there was conversation about that it would require an extension of the settlement boundary. That takes a minimum of a year.
Right. I see.
We tried to change directions and had conversations with the applicants about the servicing piece in particular, Councilor Friday, in that private services would allow them not to include it within the settlement boundary. That would be a way to do that. And they are open to that. Basically, their conversation with us around the servicing piece is, you tell us what we need to do. We believe that that's the circumstance they're looking for. So we tried to get them to focus the application on it being only ag-related use, so that potentially it would just be a zoning amendment for those lands. But the proposal goes beyond just ag-related. They're talking about things like campsites, RVs, stormwater.
But they never presented that to council.
They did, yeah, in their
like
proposal.
the RVs.
Yeah.
How come I don't remember that?
Yeah, they were part of the proposal. So it wouldn't be. You're looking at an official plan amendment and probably zoning in order to allow all of the uses that they're considering for the site. And the fastest way to do that is through an exit, as opposed to going through an official plan amendment. The servicing question is a good question. It is a question that we asked as well. They are comfortable proceeding that they would not connect to municipal services if we don't have capacity.
Oh, okay. I see. But their preference is to connect. That was so initially they saw
They thought that that would be our preference, actually, to have them connect. But from a capacity standpoint, we're a little bit concerned, and we don't really know, because we haven't reached that point, what level of service they need from a capacity standpoint.
So would that, again, sorry, maybe I'm getting into the weeds here, but so say hypothetically they don't connect to the system, right?
Yep.
Would they have their own communal water, wastewater system? Like what would,
It would just be private well.
and it would be able to service something like a facility that big with also campsites and hookups and everything else?
Be no different than my neighbor that has 400 cattle in his barn.
I mean, I don't know.
I don't
Like, because here's the thing, like, when you look at campsites, which I have a little bit of experience with, they have their own system to service, like, there'll be campsites, then there will be like a comfort station that like it's a bigger thing than just a one well.
But the campsites are not every day of the week. They're the odd time when they have a large function, not when they have everything. It's when they have a horse show, perhaps. People will come in with their horse trailers that have facilities in them that they can camp in. That's the only time the camping's going to be there. It's not going to be 24 hours a day, 7
Right,
days a
it's
week.
event specific. I'm just,
Yeah.
I
it's-
guess, sorry, I'm not against the proposal. I'm just trying to, like, I'm just surprised that you would be able to service a facility of that magnitude off of one single well. That's all I'm getting at. That's all I'm sort of
Yeah.
inquiring about.
Yeah, the one comment I would make is that when applying for the zoning order, they have to provide proof of those things as well. Councilor Fleming. It's not, yeah, it's just that it's basically the same information that we would have required going through an official plan amendment and a zoning bylaw amendment and a settlement boundary expansion they're gonna have to provide to the ministry, which actually streamlines the process, because in a lot of instances, we're getting it and then going to the ministry, they're going directly to the ministry. So the servicing questions they will have to address as part of their application.
Andrew?
Thank you, Mary. Yeah, you can basically, Milton's got 2 wells. There's large industrial facilities all over southwestern Ontario that got a big, huge pipe, right? So the water, I'm surprised we're allowing that, but that's cool. So I totally blanked on, is this in the north side of 59 and 131, or where is it supposed to be? Yeah. Right in that. And what's the footprint? Like, there's a lot of, like, this wasn't on the agenda, and I'm not complaining about that. I'm just saying it wasn't on the agenda. People will not know about this, and if we're prepared tonight even to discuss an MZO, I'm not in favor of that. I think we can have a special meeting next week with a published agenda. That's fine with me. I don't think we should be jamming an MZO through without prior public notice. Even just like discussing it, that's fine. If a week is going to make that much difference, then maybe it wasn't meant to be. But yeah, I like the idea. But I don't know the footprint for suggesting anything. Right? I'm ready to put my hand up for an MZO right now on what's basically, I see rows there, so I'm guessing they're farming it. What's it zoned? Is it agricultural? You know, what's all the questions? Like a few questions. And again, I like it. I like the idea. It's probably going to bring some employment in and some tourism to the area, and that's awesome. But the MZO is a big stick. So I would like to not do this tonight if possible.
Yeah, my only commitment to the applicant was I was going to raise it with council, because yeah, absolutely. An information report was provided back in November, but it was, yeah, a high level information report. I understand that, and I don't dispute the reaction to it. From the applicant standpoint, they see this as a hurdle, and they're looking for the quickest way to move the hurdle. And I said, I'll raise it.
Chairman?
Yeah, I'm sitting with Andrew on this. Like, it seems like a big decision to support an MZO when it's kind of set in front of us quickly. And I know there was a pretty nice report that came to us before. I recall a third of that. I'd like to see that again along with sort of you know, what are the ramifications of us, you know, maybe we could support the MZO and they don't get it anyways, but along with the ramifications of what happens when the MZO goes through. Like, I think I understand them, but I don't understand them as well as, you know, I don't understand the whole picture if we support this MZO and it goes through. We've already had, you know, within Perth County, bad experiences with MZOs, and I don't know if that's still fresh on people's minds or not, but I'm not ready to support this tonight at all when it falls in front of us like this. If we want to look at it next week with a special meeting, I'm fine with that too, if we have a little bit more time to consider it, but I do feel like it's a pretty big decision to support that without, you know, at least having that back in front of us, or even if there's a few hours of notice, I could have kind of taken a look back at that report again too, that or the presentation that came in front of us. It just seems like a lot to take in right now, and being asked to support this thing without any additional information.
We only had the meeting this afternoon, so that's why we didn't have a lot of time to get it back to you. I get it that you want to have more information back. We did have a very successful PERCON, was under an MZO when the industrial park went in. If you do the industrial park correctly, or the MZO correctly, all we're doing is saying that we're supporting them to bypass our planning department and go right to the government. That's all the MZO does. But if you want more information, that's fine. But we don't want to sit on it too long, because they need to know from the time that Matthew gets a completed application, it's going to be 3 to 4 months before we even get a decision. They need to know pretty soon whether the World Perchon competition can come to Milverton. And they want to make sure they're going to have a barn here to do it. So if the MZO isn't going to go through, or we're not going to support it, then they're going to go look elsewhere. And unfortunately, Mr. Eversole is under a time. So if we're going to defer it, I hope it comes back February 3rd. That would be the latest we would defer it, and we'd have to have a decision that night. Andrew.
That's some great comments, Mary. I totally agree. It'd be nice to have, like, it was very, like CEO Given said, a high level kind of really good sales pitch, and it looks great, right? But I need to see footprint, you know, the whole bit. Not servicing will definitely move it ahead a lot quicker, just the engineering plan alone. But yeah, I'm interested. I'm just not prepared to go tonight.
Other questions, Bob?
Well, it's something I think we would all support wholeheartedly, but yeah, there's a lot of unanswered questions, and I can't imagine a half dozen engineers they'll need to hire can coordinate, act together in a short period of time. I'm just thinking about stormwater management and upgrading municipal drain, turning lane on the county road. This goes on and on, like what's the fire capacity there for that? Massive. So to me, it's just not possible to even fathom it's coming together. I wish them well, but any other time someone plans something, it seems to take twice as long as. So if we could give some type of preliminary support, or however you want to word it, but without going into. You just keep asking the questions as the night go on. There's just so many possibilities of problems that are going to come up here, right? So, for the planning expert to talk about affecting the neighboring industrial use or neighboring farms, roadways, and conservation authority, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, it's massive project, and I can't imagine it's going to happen like that. It's not too much of a investment.
Okay, Jerry.
Yeah, thanks. I don't see, it sounds like we're very supportive around the table. Reading support for the end of the vote, it sounds like we're going to support it. We did have a pretty good idea. They did send us layout. Hey, we have that. It's prepared to support it tonight. Special meeting. That's February 3rd, it's another month. Sounds like we're supportive. Let's support it tonight and we've been working on it. That's what I understand. And we're gonna have our hands full. It sounds like it.
Amanda?
So this is a tough one because I am very supportive of it. My only beef, if you will, is that I'm hung up on process because what's the public going to say? This wasn't on the agenda. Obviously, we still brought it up. Like you guys, this was a meeting that happened today. You're letting us know preliminary. Like I would be just more comfortable just from a process standpoint alone if we had an ad hoc meeting on this directly, if we wanted to expedite it, or we wait to the next meeting just from a process standpoint. But in general, like I'm going to support it, but I just think from a public optics standpoint, because there is unfortunately some negative connotations with an M&O that the public has. I just, from a process standpoint, that would bring me more comfort, but it's up to the majority of council how we want to proceed.
I don't know if they even totally need our recommendation, do they, to proceed? They can proceed without us. All it gives is that we're on board. That's all our recommendation does. If they want to proceed without us, they can proceed without us. They just don't have the recommendation.
They don't have the weight of that on the application, and the province will take that into consideration as a factor. So
I realize that.
You are correct, but I suspect, given knowing the applicant a little bit, they probably would not feel comfortable doing that without the blessing. Like, I think that maybe I'm going out on a limb. That's my impression of the type of person the applicant is. Like, they don't want to bring something and invest something if the council isn't excited or want it here. That's my take. But like, you're right, they could put in an application without our blessing. I just think from a process standpoint, like it'd be nice if it was like formally on the agenda. But like, I mean, do people care about that? I don't know. But like, it's just my gut feeling on it.
So I'm not sure what you want, what all you want brought back on February 3rd, because like the things that Bob talked about, that all goes when we get to the site plan and all the different things, and it's not something that they're going to have all the information on right now. Like, maybe they have some of the answers because they have been working with planning staff and some of the things, and I'm not sure what they've all worked with planning staff, but I'm just not sure what exactly you want us to bring back in 3 weeks.
Like, for example, what could happen, this is a suggestion, I'm just throwing out an idea. Like, maybe the applicant appears as a delegation again, we have a discussion, because you're right, we're not going to have the in-depth questions or the answers to what Bob's getting at. But like, if that brings us a little bit of comfort and it's on the agenda item, like it's on the agenda as an item, that's what I'm getting at. That's the stickler for me, right? So, I mean, not to waste people's time, but I think it's just from a optics standpoint alone for the public that we've sort of had the discussion and done our due diligence, if you will, to give our blessing or not to proceed. But I hear what you're saying, like that would be bringing more comfort to me. Like, I would think that.
But that's why they came. I guess they didn't come the first time asking for them. Said, oh, they came that first time to inform council of what they were doing and try to give an overview. I'm not just sure exactly what more they're going to give you, but if you want them to come, we can ask them to come and give a little presentation again. And I guess if you have questions, you can ask them. They may not have all the answers yet. I don't know.
It's just a suggestion, right? Like, I get what you're saying is, what new information are we going to have between now and then that's going to make a difference? The big thing is it's not an item on the agenda, and it's a big ask.
That's fine.
That's where I'm getting at.
That's fine. Okay. No, but we've been, yeah, that's fair. Well, Mike and I have been dealing with it since like very first meeting that we had, and I think that was from last fall. So we're in it all the time. So that's why, you know, I get it. Well, we didn't think so either. We were hoping it went through the process with the way it normally does, but we're finding that that just isn't going quickly, and it's not going to happen. So, Andrew?
Keep letting me speak again, Mayor. So I think the word we're looking for is transparency. Second part is that I'm gonna guess they probably have some solid drawings, at least a footprint and some that, because you can't cobble together all these vendors to do your concrete and everything. That's probably already almost done, just waiting for the go. So I think they can give us more and more solid things. And if they're thinking of getting it done in 3 or 4 months, whether again that's possible or not, I'm gonna guess they've got most of this, you know, whether it's through Percon or whoever. I'm gonna guess a lot of it's ready to go. They have to cost it and find the labor to do it. So I think there'll be something to see come back.
All right, well, we'll bring it. I don't think we need a motion. We'll just bring it back on February 3rd and see what goes from there. Okay. All right. Any announcements? Oh, sorry. Okay, sorry. Mike's got another thing under.
And this is just information, not asking for a council decision or anything as it relates to this, but I did want to update council as it relates to the appeal with the Ontario Land Tribunal for 12 and 20 Cobalt Street. The notices associated with the appeal, and in particular, the upcoming case management conference are circulating, so you may be getting questions from residents. What does this mean? What does that all entail? It's part of the process. It's basically an initial meeting as it relates to the appeal. But I think what's important for council to know is that neighbors or others can register to be for party status or participant status at the OLT. They need to contact the OLT case manager in order to do that. That information is all in the notice that's being circulated. And the circulation is the same people that were contacted as part of the planning application. So I just wanted to share that just in case you would calls as it relates to that appeal. And the conference is scheduled for February 27th. So that's the initial, that's not the actual appeal, that's the initial conference.
I'm a little confused, if I may, about that comment. The appeal, is that the appeal that they're appealing the timeline? They're appealing the vendors, the proponents appeal.
Yeah, the proponents have appealed the zoning bylaw application.
It's not a separate appeal by a private individual.
This is, associated with their appeal.
Okay, anyone else have any questions on that? Do we have any other business? Or we move on? No, okay. Any announcements? We do not have a closed session, so we are to confirmatory bylaw. So bylaw 04-2026 being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council of the Township of Perth East at its regular meeting held on January 13, 2026, be read at first, second, and third time. Moved by Hugh, second by Bob, all in favor. Carried, and the last motion of the evening is to adjourn at 8:54. Moved by Jeremy, second by Jerry, all in favor. Yeah. Thanks, everyone. Enjoy your night.